And when we came back for season 2, I was just telling them, like, y'all got to watch this Dave Chappelle. Everybody looked at me weird. But the publicist, who was actually Keith Murray, either baby mama or wife or something, she was actually our publicist. And she was like, he is funny, isn't he? I was like, yeah, you should try to contact him. And next thing you know, she contacted him and came to the house. And that's how we ended up doing the Dave Chappelle skit. Thanks, Chop.
I was at the Freak Off one time and I went in the back room and Puff was in there with Carl Winslow, with Dad from Family Matters. He was smashing and I was like, Puff, what are you doing? And he was like, yeah, it feels good to make another man do your bidding. And I was like, oh my God. I shouldn't even I've been to Puffy's house. No, I didn't see none of the stuff they said in that trial. I walked to the room, house was clean, traction on the floor, nothing slippery, walk right through. Perfectly normal evening. The only thing in hindsight, but at the time it didn't mean nothing to me. We was on this back patio, and we was drinking and laughing, talking, and then Puff starts swirling his drink like this, and he goes, so Dave, he goes, what are you into? You know me, I was like, I don't know, books, video games. I didn't know there was my big chance.
When Dave Chappelle comes on stage, people listen more carefully. Not because he looks for attention, but because he often talks about uncomfortable truths without saying them directly. In his latest Netflix special, he did that again. This time, he told a story about Sean Diddy Combs. It was about a casual visit to Diddy's mansion many years ago. At the time, the moment seemed normal and harmless. But now, looking back, it feels different. Chappelle did not accuse anyone. He did not claim he knew anything bad. He did not try to prove anything. He simply told a story. Still, in a time when silence is being questioned and old jokes are being looked at again, that story felt bigger than comedy. This is not about attacking anyone or making up connections. It is about understanding where Dave Chappelle stands in this situation, why his words feel so powerful right now, and what they say about power, distance, and the difference between being part of a system and standing just far enough away to see it clearly. On the surface, Chappelle's story sounded like normal stand-up comedy. A celebrity visit, a clean house, a quiet night, no drama, no warning signs, nothing that seemed strange at the time. He described walking through Diddy's house and noticing how normal everything felt.
I've been to Puffy's house. I didn't see none of the stuff they said in that trial. I walked to that nigga's living room, house was clean, traction on the floor, nothing slippery, walk right through. Perfectly normal evening. The only thing in hindsight, but at the time it didn't mean nothing to me. We was on this back patio, and we was drinking and laughing, talking, and then Puff starts swirling his drink like this, and he goes, so Dave, he goes, what are you into? You know me, I was like, I don't know, books, video games. I didn't know there was my big chance to...
Calm energy. Nothing that matched the dark stories people talk about today. That detail was important. It showed how places connected to powerful people can look completely normal from the outside. Clip 2. Then came the moment that changed the mood in the room. Diddy was swirling his drink and asked a vague question. What are you into? At the time, Chappelle did not think much of it. He replied with a joke, like a comedian who saw nothing strange about the question. Years later, with new allegations in the public spotlight involving Diddy and Cassie Ventura, Chappelle looked back at that moment differently. He now described it as something he did not understand at the time. The laughter from the audience felt uncomfortable, not because the joke was mean, but because it made people think about the past in a new way. What separated this from gossip was Chappelle's restraint. He did not describe any bad behavior. He did not guess what Cassie went through. He clearly said he was not there for anything inappropriate. The joke was about his own lack of awareness, not about someone else's suffering. That difference matters. Today, jokes are often treated like confessions. But comedy is not evidence. Chappelle was showing how easy it is to be close to powerful people and still have no idea what is really happening behind closed doors.
You know what it is, man? It's just no fun being famous anymore. It's like y'all made it scary. You know what it feels like being famous? And scary is the right word. It feels like, and I'm not being dramatic, it feels like I'm storming the beach of Normandy, World War II. But I got to keep a happy expression on my face all the time. So imagine all the dangers storming the beach, but I still look like this. The bullets are whizzing by and stuff is exploding. I'm just like, and then every once in a while something terrible happens. Bow! And I'm like, oh no! Puffy got hit. And Puffy be like, oh, keep going, Playboy. I kicked the and forgot about it. I've been in trouble in my day. Well, I've been in a lot of trouble in my day, but man, let me tell you something. This guy, Puffy, buddy, this guy is in an enormous amount of trouble. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. They got this guy in a RICO case by himself. A lot of my friends ask me, they say, Dave, did you know anything about those freak off parties? And I'd be like, nah, man. I don't know anything about the freak off. And they all look at me like, and they be like, well, how all these people you know was at the freak off, but you's the only one that wasn't at the freak off. And I thought about it for a minute. I said, oh my God. I'm ugly. That's a tough way to find that out. Can you imagine if you were me reading the newspaper and found out everyone in Hollywood had an orgy behind your back? Like none of y'all called me? Well, it really hurts. I'm glad they didn't call me though, because the stories that come out about it are crazy. I saw one thing on the internet, so I'm not sure this is true. Probably doubt it's true, but I saw it. Some guy who said he knew Puffy, like, yeah, man. He's like, I was at the freak off one time and I went in the back room and Puff was in there with Carl Winslow, with Dad from Family Matters. He was smashing and I was like, Puff, what are you doing? And he was like, yeah, it feels good to make another man do your bidding. And I was like, oh my God. Carl Winslow from Family Matters was there and I wasn't invited.
One of the most important parts of Chappelle's story was what he chose not to do. He did not make fun of Cassie Ventura. He did not downplay her lawsuit. He did not ignore how hard it is to speak publicly about private experiences. Instead, he paused the jokes and acknowledged how painful that process can be. He explained that testifying, even in a civil case, means reliving moments most people would rather forget. Chappelle made sure the audience understood that. He also reminded them that the hotel video involving Diddy and Cassie, while disturbing, was never handled as a criminal case. He pointed out that Cassie's lawsuit was settled quickly and that the details were kept private. These were facts, not excuses. He was not defending anyone's behavior. He was separating legal facts from online assumptions. When Chappelle called Cassie strong, the mood in the room changed. The joke stopped there. The laughter faded. This was not comedy at someone else's expense. It was a comment on how harsh public attention can be, especially when someone's personal life becomes public evidence. Chappelle understands that line well. He has spent many years watching how the entertainment industry treats people. This matters because some viewers tried to connect Chappelle directly to the controversy. That is where facts matter. There is no record of Chappelle having any personal relationship with Cassie. No work together. No social connection. No closeness at all. He mentioned her only to explain the context, not because of any personal involvement. Mixing commentary with personal involvement is how stories get twisted.
Dave Chappelle is the funniest person in the world. I think you should try to create a skit. Ask them, they'll tell you. And she said, you think so? I said, I know so. She got in contact with Dave Chappelle. He was a big fan of us. He came to Diddy house. Who was all that? He was like, let's do the skit. He said, dollar on here? We said, no. He said, I thought so. That's what we're going to do the skit on. That's how that went. That simple.
That simple.
And he owed dollar on money because all you really think about Dave Chappelle is one of his skits, and that's dollar on dollar on dollar on dollar on dollar.
Hold on. What about the Little John? No, yeah, Little John was the hard.
I would say, bro, that's number one.
Okay.
But dollar on is number two.
Wait, but he also played Diddy in that skit. How did Diddy take?
We told him how to play Diddy.
Oh,
yeah. Right then and there.
Y'all told him exactly what he be doing. Just
correct.
Has Diddy ever had Cambodian breast milk delivered to the house?
To be honest with you, the way how far we walked, I wish I would have had some Cambodian breast milk. Because I was hungry.
For real.
Especially that day.
God, for real. Before we get off of Dylon, I'm just curious, was Dylon to you the weakest link in the band?
Sarah was.
Damn. I mean, that's the voice, though.
That was not the verse. That was whatever they predicted it as or perceived it as. The weakest is whatever you perceive it as.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for Dylon, after the band, whatever became of his, like...
With Dylon, I don't know, bro. I can't sit up here and give someone a result if they're still going. That's not my job, is to say Dylon is this here and that there if he's still going. If you're still going, then the race ain't over.
I mean, more so, did anyone else sign him? Did he do any more albums?
Just because somebody don't sign you doesn't mean you ain't popping. Mm-hmm. You got to get this clipped. This right here is the same reason why Diddy's in jail. The mockery and the media outlets that portray who's who, right? Success don't come with working hard. Success come with getting chose.
Oh, yeah. No, I heard that before.
You understand?
Anthony Mackie just said that.
You understand? And he's from New Orleans, right? So none of this matters. This is the glitch in the matrix if you can peep it. But it makes you choose a red or a blue pill. This don't mean you're famous. Just means you're chose for the moment. And everything is momentarily, right? So I can't sit up here and say Dylon is not doing what he's supposed to do, or Dylon is this and that there. Dylon is still in the race, just like you are, just like he is, you are. Nobody has won as much as you think you have. You just sprinted faster in a race where everybody's walking or jogging. So I can't pinpoint nothing on nobody unless you're showing, improving, and breaking records. And if you're not doing that, then well, I guess we just all in the same race until this mother.
Come on now.
So I can't pinpoint what Dylon's doing unless.
Unlike many entertainers from his time, Dave Chappelle was never deeply connected to music industry power circles. He did not build business empires with executives. He did not attend every exclusive party. He did not depend on insider access to stay famous. In fact, one of his most well-known choices was walking away when the pressure became too much. Because of this outsider position, people often assume he knows more than he does. Audiences think that since Chappelle criticizes systems of power, he must know every secret inside them. But understanding how power works is not the same as seeing specific actions happen. Chappelle has always spoken in general terms about exploitation, silence, and pressure. He talks about patterns, not private moments. His distance from Diddy shows that difference. Their connection was cultural, not personal. Being two famous people from the same era does not mean they shared personal lives. They appeared at public events. They existed in the same entertainment world. That is where the connection ends. Chappelle's comedy works because he watches from the outside. He is close enough to understand how power talks and moves, but far enough away to question it without facing the same risks many celebrities fear. That is why his jokes feel threatening to some people. Not because he is revealing secrets, but because he shows how normal things can look until suddenly they do not. He also mentioned freak-offs, a term that keeps spreading online and carries serious meaning. The term comes from civil court filings, leaked claims, and media reports connected to Diddy's legal issues. These are accusations, not proven facts. That difference matters. Even with strong emotions around the topic, no lawsuit has ever named Dave Chappelle as a participant, witness, or supporter of any wrongdoing. No legal filing places him at any scene or event connected to these claims. Clip
Part of the freak offs with Cassie Ventura and Sean Diddy Combs. It lasted from September 2012 to approximately March of 2015. I estimate somewhere between 8 and 12 times. I was a witness in the Sean Diddy Combs trial.
Also before the jury today, a male escort known as the Punisher. He testified about his encounters with both Cassie Ventura and Sean Combs.
I remember, so you don't get in that situation every day. My first interaction was at the Trump International Hotel, Central Park West. I run a meal review company in New York City. So on the weekends, I set up these parties where ladies come out and celebrate their bachelorette parties. But we also get calls for private parties. So I just got a standard call that night where a woman called me up and said, hey, it's my birthday. And my husband says I can get some entertainment for me and my friends. I got a location, a time, and showed up with my dance bag ready to do a little strip tease. And when I opened the door, I ended up opening up to a woman in a bathrobe. And it was, for me, probably the most attractive woman that I seen in person. So it was it was a wow moment. Walking into the scenario was definitely very odd. I've done thousands of bachelorette parties, and I'm walking in thinking I'm coming into a crowd of people. But I walked into this very dimly lit room by candlelight, and what was the most odd thing was all of the furniture was covered in sheets. And she immediately explained to me the circumstances that she was trying to set a sex scene, that me and her were going to sit on these couches and put baby oil on each other in a suggestive way. And at some point, her husband would come out and watch. But I'm not supposed to acknowledge him, look at him, have any eye contact. We're supposed to do our best to act like he's not even there. So it was way out of my comfort zone. My initial feeling was to question, but the minute I was told what was expected, she handed me a stack of money, essentially $2,000 for what was asked of a baby oil massage. It was something I was going to give a go. Hey, look, I'm an opportunist, right? So I get a stack of money. I got this beautiful woman here. She instructed me to sit on one of those couches. In the area of the couches were bowls of warm water that were filled with bottles of baby oil. And we were to grab these bottles of baby oil and start in a suggestive way, trying to make it look and exotic, to kind of put oil on ourselves, rub it in. She would do the same. And then that escalated to us kind of mutually massaging each other. Probably about 7 to 10 minutes into the initial massage, I can see from my peripheral somebody walk into the room. It was clear that he was nude. And one of the more shocking things to it was he was wearing a face covering, and he's pleasuring himself. So that was different. The interaction of the husband stayed pretty consistent. For the most part, he was, of course.
This is similar to what Sherry the Punisher Hayes has mentioned. Chappelle did not introduce that term in his special. He only referred to things that are already public knowledge. He relied on what the audience already knows, not on making his own claims. That is how comedy reflects culture instead of creating it. There is a risk when those lines get blurred. When commentary turns into assumed guilt just because someone was nearby, the truth becomes weaker. In this case, Chappelle is not a character in the story. He is more like a mirror, showing what people are already talking about. Understanding that difference helps protect real accountability. It keeps attention on where evidence exists, not on where rumors feel exciting. If Chappelle had told this same story 10 years ago, it likely would not have caused any reaction. Timing matters. Today's audience brings new information into the room. The laughter feels heavier because people are now looking at the past through what they know today. That does not mean Chappelle knew more back then. It means society knows more now. Comedy often gains meaning over time. Words that once seemed casual can feel important later, not because the speaker's intent changed, but because the context did.
Like, yes, let's rock this. Because it wasn't that I was trying to change anyone's perception. I wanted to blow the lid off that joke because I wanted to get to the heart of the joke. And I think after all these years and all the accolades about it, and yes, it changed some people's perceptions, but I will let you in on something. Whether it changed someone's perception of me, I could care less because I already knew. I already knew who I was. If you came to see me live, even when I was doing my talk show, my show that I do live and the things I talk about live, those are the things that I can talk about in that venue. So I already knew me. So when a network person, a white network person comes up to me and says, you know what, I'd like to offer you this role now because I saw what you did on the Chappelle Show. If you saw what I did as an actor on the Chappelle Show, cool, because I acted the hell out of that and we wrote a great sketch. But if now I'm on your list as being black because of that thing, well, you can kiss my ass. And fans, a brother will come up and say, Wayne, man, I didn't like you before, but since that Chappelle thing, stop. Thank you for the compliment, brother, but it's not the compliment that you want, so we don't need to talk. Well, Wayne's a jerk because he didn't take my compliment. No, it's an insult. Your compliment is an insult, and that's just my way of taking it. I get where it comes from. So that's why my job is to continue to do things to break down that line of thinking within my community of what is black and outside the community of what is thought of and perceived as black, because it's limiting. Anytime that someone says, you are this thing, you've now taken money out my mouth. Why? Because I can't do this role. Because somebody thinks that I'm not black enough. You won't let me do something that is integral to my art because you don't think this thing. That's real, and it's not just me. So that's what black comedy can do now, is flip all of that on its ear. That's why I'm glad I did the sketch, because I just wanted to do it so that I could.
This is why Dave Chappelle is still relevant. He understands that stories change over time. He does not jump to conclusions. He allows time to reveal patterns. His joke was less about Diddy and more about how powerful places can appear completely normal on the surface. That idea is uncomfortable. It suggests that many people move through certain spaces without understanding what those spaces really represent. Not because they were involved, but because systems are built to look harmless. At its core, this moment is not about one joke or one person. It is about how the entertainment industry works. Chappelle has always focused on that bigger picture. He criticizes systems of control, not individual people. He questions silence, not rumors. He used humor carefully and avoided becoming part of the drama. He did not present himself as a hero. He did not claim to know secrets. He simply accepted that looking back can change how moments are understood. That approach upsets people who want clear villains and clear sides. But real life is rarely that simple. Sometimes the most honest thing a person can say is, I didn't know. And admitting that lack of awareness is part of understanding the problem itself.
It's bad. But 50 wouldn't stop there, you see. For some reason, Diddy, around the time of his arrest, thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be exonerated later, so I'm going to film all this, and then I can use it in my big comeback later when I'm not in jail. Didn't work out the way he thought, and it turns out he went to jail for a few years. All right, he didn't get the full amount, but he still got a few years. And 50 Cent somehow managed to pay for the footage off of the videographer. Probably Diddy's worst nightmare, this. It's got to be up there. Now, we're going to get into what's in the actual documentary, and it's something.
We need the core theme to be, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong on any front.
By the way, these conversations, the lawyer had no idea he was recording them. So when the lawyer's like, yeah, we need everyone to believe you did nothing wrong, it kind of takes away from when the lawyer is out in public saying, yeah, my client is completely innocent. And now he's showing the behind the scenes where he clearly didn't think he was very innocent. So not Diddy's smartest move. However, throughout this journey, you'll see he makes a lot of crazy decisions.
I don't think it's working. I listened. I've been a superb client, as you said. I jumped on the plane. I'm coming to New York, but I'm just running around waiting for a shoe to drop.
right now, in case you can't tell, and he really doesn't look good.
It's the middle of September and there's still no one died.
Bro, then you have to have a spokesman. You have to have some sort of comms to constantly be pushing that, Mark. Because you may just be a person that you just may watch CNN. You know what I'm saying? And there's 9 billion people in the world. And 7 billion of them is on Instagram and TikTok.
He's basically trying to get control of the narrative. That's what he's really worried about. He wants public perception to be, this was all bullshit. Fortunately for him, we'd all seen the CCTV of him beating the assy. So, we know you're not a good guy, man. That's out there. A statement from your solicitor is really not going to change that.
We have to find somebody that'll work with us, whether they're from this country or from another country. It could be somebody that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business of media and propaganda.
We need to brainwash the motherfucker now, and we need people who are used to working with the dirtiest of dirty, because that's what he is, and he's admitting it. How could you let this footage fall into the hands of 50 Cent, my guy? And honestly, it always comes down to money with Diddy, because Diddy didn't get rich just because he was, clever in music. Diddy got rich because he robbed people all the time. And him not taking care of the people around him, it just comes back to bite him 1,000,000 times over.
It's like we have a movie, you're speaking this language, and you know what I'm saying, we need subtitles. And we're not providing the audience with subtitles. And I invited you to this movie, and you in this thing, you don't know what's going on. You just see, you just see images, quickly. Now it has a whole life of its own.
I gotta say, this whole doc was edited well. When he said you just see the pictures and they cut to the CCTV. Well done, 50. You nailed that, son. If you're going to take him down in style. So you get a clear window from the jump here into Diddy's psyche. He doesn't give a about Cassie or any of these girls. He doesn't give a It's save yourself mentality, and it's crisis mode. And you can see on his face, we know he's got a drug problem. This is at an all-time high of his drug taking, surely, because he is stressed stuff.
I'm not a referee. So I'm going to get off the phone right now. Listen to me. I'm going to get off the phone right now. And I am going to let you professionals look at the situation and come back to...
What made the recent documentary so disturbing was not loud accusations or dramatic storytelling. It was the quiet way the information was presented. Hidden footage, old clips, and past interviews suddenly felt different when watched today. Moments that once seemed harmless now carried a heavier meaning. The documentary did not depend on one shocking claim. Instead, it slowly connected small details until a pattern started to appear. Viewers saw security footage timelines, behind-the-scenes recordings, and pieces of conversations that had been around for years but were never put together before. Some clips showed behavior that looked controlling. Others showed people around Diddy laughing things off or quickly changing the subject. Nothing was presented as a final judgment. The impact came from suggestion, not direct accusation. What stood out most was how uncomfortable many people looked when seen in hindsight. Old red carpet interviews, jokes that ended too fast, smiles that disappeared mid-sentence. The documentary suggested that certain spaces ran on unspoken rules. You did not ask questions. You did not stay too long. You knew when it was time to leave. That culture of silence became the main focus. The footage also raised questions about who had access and who did not. Cameras were everywhere, yet real understanding was missing. Moments were recorded, but their meaning only became clear later. The documentary never claimed that everyone knew what was happening. Instead, it suggested that many people felt something was wrong, but did not have the proof or power to speak up. Clip 8.
The series is entitled Sean Combs, The Reckoning. How is this one different from the others that have been out there?
Well, I think that the biggest marker of what makes this film or this series different is how much time we took into putting into the making of the film, doing our due diligence to get the right voices, to the table. This is a series that spans over 30 years. So just by covering that much time, it took a lot of time for us to dig in and to kind of make sense of this story and to put this timeline together.
Yeah, and there's like some never before seen footage that I'm going to talk to you about in just a moment. But Curtis, people know about this very public, long-standing feud that you've had with Sean Combs. So what brought you to this project?
Well, I just want to make really hit television. I like the idea of it being exciting, and I picked this project and started working on it about 5 months before I found Alex, and I know that she has the artistic integrity that it would take to make it a great project, and there's the Quincy Jones era of production is find me that bass player because he's the baddest man out there in Chicago, and find me that keyboardist and fly them in from Miami, and we put them in and have the greatest jam session they ever heard, and it just always resulted in great and hit music. And I take that concept into television production.
You take that into everything you do, sir.
That's right.
You really do. And it really comes through, and appreciate that about you. As I said, never before seen footage of the days leading up to his arrest. Can you just talk a little bit about it? Was there anything that surprised you from that footage?
The footage, well, I mean, I think it's rare to find someone who's being, talked about all over the country. All eyes were on him, so to speak. And it was really interesting to see his last days of freedom, and what was sort of important to him. Obviously, there's phone calls with his attorneys, with his team. It was very interesting to watch a man who's known for his brand presence. He has a really amazing knack for marketing and all of that, and how he was sort of taking that into account and how he was coming off to the public, in the days leading up to his arrest and indictment. So that was interesting. It was also just interesting to see how laid back he was at times. But, the footage also, in the footage, we also see how he's getting incoming, lawsuits are dropping, and to get his real-time perspective on that was sort of jaw-dropping when we first got our eyes on the footage.
Was there anything that surprised you when you were watching the footage?
No, that didn't surprise me at all.
Because you've known him?
Yes, those behaviors, and I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that, because how did you go about getting the footage? And do you know the intent of the videographer, why he or this person took the footage?
She's a journalist, right?
Yeah.
So she's not going to reveal her sources, so you don't have to reveal that.
Not going to reveal my sources, but I think that partnering with someone like 50, it was very much in the universe as to what we were doing.
It's a lot easier to get it.
And you alluded to this, Alex, because watching the footage, and you're like, does he know he's on camera here? Like, he's going back and forth with his team a lot, and you could tell at one point he was wanting people to change their...
The internet often demands that everyone pick a side. Chappelle chose something more difficult. He chose to reflect. By doing that, he reminded us that understanding systems is more important than chasing shocking moments. The real question is not why Chappelle joked about it now. The real question is how many people walked through those same rooms, felt that nothing was wrong, and only realized years later what they were actually standing next to. If so many people were present but say they never saw anything, what does that tell us about how power hides in plain sight? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button so you do not miss any future content. And until next time, fam, keep it real. Every voice to take a side. But Chappelle chose something harder. He chose reflection. And in doing so, he reminded us that understanding systems matters more than chasing shock. The real question is not why. Dave Chappelle joked about it now. The real question is how many people walked through those same rooms, felt nothing was wrong, and only understood years later what they were standing next to. If so many people were around but claimed they never saw anything, what does that say about how power really hides in plain sight? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real.